On 123 to 120 on Rui Hachimura's three-pointer at the buzzer. But the main discussion after the game and around the NBA was LeBron. For the first time in 18 years, LeBron failed to score in double figures, a streak that had lasted an NBA record 1,297 consecutive games. LeBron had 8 points in 36 minutes. He only made 4 of 17 shots, including 0 for 5 on three-pointers, and had no free throw attempts. LeBron did have 11 assists. Number 11 set up Hachimura for his game-winning shot. LeBron had the ball on the Lakers' final possession, but he saw Hachimura open in the corner. To put this in perspective, Michael Jordan is the only player close to LeBron with 866 straight games scoring in double figures. That 1,297 might never be broken. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Happy holidays!
This holiday season, KBLA Talk 1580 wishes you and yours joy, peace, and prosperity. As we celebrate with family and friends, we're already looking forward to an exciting first quarter, packed with must-attend events to kick off the new year just right. In January, join us for our inaugural Brotherhood Brunch, bringing together community leaders, change makers, and everyday people for inspiration and connection. February means it's time for our signature Black History Month luncheon, a powerful celebration you won't want to miss. And in March, Women's History Month, we're once again hosting our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium and Luncheon, addressing the issues that matter most inside our community. From all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, happy holidays. Stay tuned for more details on these incredible upcoming events. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice, your community, your power.
Junior Show. The Jesse Jackson Junior Show. The Jesse Jackson Junior Show. The Jesse Jackson Junior Show. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580, download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. It's Fat Meat Fridays on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I know that you're in rush hour traffic trying to get to that weekend. And we're grateful that you're joining us on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show in Season 2. This is our Season 2 launch this week. I'm particularly proud that on Fridays, the host of our show is none other than Gina Towns. Gina Towns is the creator and the director and executive producer of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. She has completely revamped the show, for which I am extremely proud. She is a graduate of Hampton University, a graduate of Princeton Theological Seminary, a social activist, and I'm just so grateful for the work that she does to make this show and so many other things happen. Gina, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Hi, Jesse Jackson Jr. How are you today?
I'm doing great. You doing all right?
I'm doing okay.
All right, fantastic. It's just cold here in Chicago.
Yeah, well, it's Chicago.
Yeah, I heard that. Had a wonderful visit yesterday, last evening, with Reverend Sharpton, who flew into town to spend a few private moments with Reverend Jackson, and I was particularly excited. Prayed with him, prayed with Dad, prayed with a small group of friends. When my father hears voices that he recognizes, he gets very animated. He opens his eyes, he squeezes their hand, and he tries to talk, and we all stop to hear that one sentence or two that might come out. But I am so grateful that Dad is with us. I am so grateful that Reverend Sharpton took time out of his extremely busy schedule. I think he also had this morning a funeral to preach and then fly back to New York for his own show. Ashley Sharpton was here, and Dominique Sharpton, who was running the Sharpton radio show yesterday. We're so grateful to the Sharpton family for that private time. Gina, I have a question that I wanted to raise with you in this first segment about serious buyer's remorse. I looked on social media yesterday and again this morning, and I know that the clip may not be ready, but that's fine. Let's just talk about it on this side of the break, and maybe after the break we'll have a clip. I saw a Somalian press conference in Minnesota. United States citizens held a press conference sometime last year endorsing the candidacy of Donald John Trump. Today, Donald John Trump has, through the Immigration Customs Enforcement Agency, descended upon that community and is threatening to, I don't want to say export, he's deport. He's threatening to deport the entire Somalian community, suggesting that their immigration status in the United States is not warranted. And I'm just thinking in this moment about the buyer's remorse associated with that attack upon Somalians who did not support Kamala Harris, did not support the Democratic Party. Somehow they found hope in the rhetoric of Donald Trump, and they must have a profound sense of buyer's remorse today. Gina, your thoughts?
Well, that clip is ready if you'd like to go to it.
Oh, let's go to it. Do we have time? Do we have time? Okay, let's do it.
Again, my name is Faisal Deri, and we're here gathered today with the community leaders, business leaders, and youth leaders from the Somali community and from the Muslim community in Minnesota. And we're gathered here today to fully support and endorse President Trump.
Let me make the distinction or the delineation. I'm a foundational Black American. My mama Black, my daddy Black. I did not come from any place other than here. I don't go to Jamaica and speak on what's happening in the grill. I do not go to Ghana and speak what's happening in Ghana. I do not go to Nigeria and talk about what's happening in Lagos because it's none of my business. It is not my place. When you come over here from the Caribbean, from Africa, from South America, whichever type of Black that you are, you get an immigrant experience. You do not have 400 200 years of chattel slavery hanging over your head. You do not know anything about Jim Crow, and you do not understand what is happening to us directly. You catch a little bit of an incident here and there because you look like us. So I'm gonna need everybody who's not a foundational Black American to stay the hell out of my conversation, understand it's not your place, and realize that we have things to do.
Man,
Gina. Gina.
Well,
Well.
well,
Well.
well. So let's start with the commentator for how we addressed that right there. And in fact, I think we may even need to take a break after. You get us out and back.
I think we need to stew on that one for a minute. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You're listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. When we come forward, we're going to have a conversation about Somalians in Minnesota who endorsed Donald John Trump.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 remembers Robin Ayers on the 1-year anniversary of her passing. 1 year ago this week, we lost a remarkable and vibrant voice. Robin Ayers touched countless lives through her passion, her love, her service, and her smile, which you could see through the radio. KBLA Talk 1580 honors her memory and celebrates the legacy she left behind. Robin, your spirit lives on in every conversation, in every connection, and in every one of us, inspired by your voice. Gone, but never forgotten. KBLA Talk 1580, where voices matter.
I'm missing you. Tell me why the road turns. I'm missing you. Tell me why the road turns.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Folly drops the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the need. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the need. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. It's Fat Meat Fridays with our co-host, Gina Towns. Gina, welcome forward to the show.
Thank you, Jesse. How are you?
Gina, I'm doing great. But listen, check this out about those Somalians in Minnesota who had that press conference promoting the candidacy of Donald Trump. And that commentator, Gina.
Yeah. And if you are just joining us on radio or even in our social media feed, we listened to a clip before we came forward here where some of our brothers and sisters from around the world who are in the United States endorsed Donald Trump in the last election. And the commentator from that clip talked about how our experience is just different in the United States. We love all of our brothers and sisters around the world. We try to love everybody, even those who don't love us. And I know that Dr. Franklin, who is waiting to come on in the studio, will be glad to hear love for one another, because we are certainly going to talk about that. But our experience is just different. I have a really good friend, several from other areas around the world. But in particular, one of my friends is Jamaican, and I shared with him because he had shared with me. He says, you know, you all are nothing like I thought when I moved here because of the propaganda that had been propagated about African Americans for decades in other parts of the world, where that we were lazy. You know, we didn't want to work, hard to educate, whatever you name. And I said, well, you know, and your accent allowed you to be able to have opportunities that perhaps some other African Americans would not be able to have, but you fill a quota. And so that is that unfortunate piece that divides and separates those of us who come from the continent of Africa and found ourselves in different places, be it the Caribbean or, you know, Haiti or the United States of America, but certainly from Somalia. I just remember there being famine in Somalia as I was growing up. And I just don't know that I would speak about anybody being president who has spoken about Black people the way that Donald Trump has.
You know, I'm disappointed because when you think about their representative in Congress, who is one of Congress's most progressive members, Ilhan Omar, a candidate that I support, that we support, that needs to be supported, who receives these attacks from Donald Trump on nearly a daily basis. These are constituents of Ilhan Omar who supported Kamala Harris and the Joe Biden administration. Of course, she had criticisms and critiques of our own internal politics within the Democratic Party, which I respect. But these constituents within the Somalian community, business people, Muslims, and others, young people, the particular endorser suggested, a couple of dozen of them were standing there when they had this press conference back last year, announcing their support for Donald John Trump. And they weren't apparently paying attention, or they didn't hear or understand the legitimate grievances that African Americans have here in the United States. And now Donald Trump is sending the Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement Administration to Minnesota with a commitment to the MAGA base that he plans to round up as many of them as possible and detain them and possibly even deport them back to their country of origin, back to Somalia. Putting all of us in a very, very unique position, or a challenging position, to one, fight for their human rights as U.S. citizens, but they were on the wrong side of the very process that Governor Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar, the political leadership of that state, that was literally standing between them and potential deportation.
Absolutely.
I mean, the irony of that is so stark. But the commentator, and I know that we're going to be bringing forward our guest in just a moment, Dr. Robert Franklin, the commentator was particularly insightful in that those of us who have an experience through pre-Reconstruction, the construction of the United States, the Civil War, the deconstruction of the United States, the Reconstruction period of the United States, Jim Crow, all the way up to Brown versus the Board of Education, and all the way up to the election of Donald John Trump. We have a history as African Americans that needs to be respected by our brothers and sisters from the Caribbean who come to the United States seeking a better way of life. who do not have a full appreciation that we have a shared history on how Somalians ended up in starvation, how the Caribbean ended up populated with Afro-Caribbeans in Cuba, in Jamaica, in South America, and what that process was. And understanding that process should be important to your geopolitical reference. You know, I know if my father were capable, he'd be standing today with Somalians who are arguing and fighting to stay in the United States of America. I know he would be there because that's just who my dad is, and that's just the kind of heart that he has. But on the other hand, he would be facing tremendous criticism. Like, Reverend, they did not vote for Kamala Harris. Why are you standing there with them?
Well, you know, here's the thing about grace, because there are so many people who have buyer's remorse. And a lot of people, and I have always cautioned people about being one-trick ponies when it comes to politics. You cannot vote one issue and say, I'm going to put all of, you know, my faith in this particular promise, because you won't hear it again. And that's one of those things. If you were upset about this or that, and you felt like it was not being addressed, you can't say, well, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump because they won't address this particular issue. Black people in this country, when you have been here through all of what you just laid out in a linear historical timeline, understand that we have to vote our collective interest just to stay free, just to have the right to vote, not to have Black jobs, whatever that is.
If you think about it, it's the Congressional Black Caucus that stood on the well of the House of Representatives that demanded the U.S. State Department and immigration policy include Somalians and Ethiopians and South Africans and Nigerians and others, and to ignore the history of that thinking that made their new lives possible in America possible, I find to be of great irony.
Maybe we'll just close that on it. You are because I am.
Dr. Robert Franklin.
Dr. Robert Franklin.
A leading theologian, author, academician, known for his work on moral leadership, serving as the former president of Morehouse College and currently holding the James T. and Berta R. Laney Chair of Moral Leadership at Emory University's Candler School of Theology. Also a senior advisor to Emory's president is our very special guest on Fat Meat Fridays and the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Dr. Franklin, welcome forward to the show.
Thank you a great deal. Good to be with you both, and thank you for this enlightening and provocative dialogue you've just shared.
Did we get in trouble, Dr. Franklin?
I think so. But here in Georgia, John Lewis would say it was good trouble.
Oh, I love having Dr. Franklin on.
Dr. Franklin, let me ask you this question. Layering, which no one can do better than you, our history against the backdrop, as the commentator said in that video, of the new immigrant experience for Black and brown people who come to the United States, not looking towards the slave ship, not looking towards the experience that we've experienced through these various phases, pre-American history, before the Declaration of Independence, and certainly before the Constitution, and all that has transpired to achieve a 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, to elect a Black caucus in the Congress of the United States, to sensitize Americans to the promise, the Statue of Liberty, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses. They come here having not been in your class, Dr. Franklin, having understood the history. And I guess it would be Kendrick Lamar who would say, in a real sense, at least historically, and historical understanding, they just not like us.
What a lesson this is, and I think a wake-up call to immigrant populations in this country who have perhaps resisted joining forces with other groups who love democracy and who are working to preserve and extend the blessings of democracy, but have been in some ways seduced by the promises of MAGA and other extremist parties. So it's a wake-up call. And I think also a wake-up call to peoples of color throughout the United States and working class communities of all ethnic, racial varieties to now come together, build coalition, and let's work together on one hand to resist this awful authoritarian encroachment upon normal American moral values, push back against the authoritarian playbook, and secondly, to begin to prepare for the next chapter, and to do that in cooperation with greater understanding of each other. And I think, as Gina said so well, perhaps there is buyer's remorse. Perhaps there is an awakening that will move through a grief process to realize they've been lied to realize that the promises have been broken, and it is now time to make new friends. And let's prepare to march together and restore good democracy.
Jesse, it's Fat Meat Friday, Dr. Franklin. And so, I like to dig a little bit more. There's something I want to throw into the skillet that you said. You used the word that people come here, and you described it with the word seduction. And, when we think about Fat Meat Friday, the word seduction leads to the fall of man for those who have that faith. We are seduced by things that we think we need, that we think we want, things that we think we know. And I dare say that that's one of the problems is people think they know the United States before they get here. We think, I don't go anywhere out of this country thinking that I know. And I try to live each day like I don't know. There are experiences that I have, but because I don't know what the next day holds, I have to use those experiences to try to make my way through this world. But unfortunately, people probably do come here thinking they have an understanding about what has really transpired in our country, and the seduction of America alone with the promise of capitalism brings people here with a certain attitude, perhaps.
No, I think you're absolutely right. And once again, it's a matter of reading critically, of listening, of studying daily events, and drawing conclusions, or at least formulating hypotheses about what does this mean? Who are the people who are in charge, who treat immigrants, who treat refugees, who treat children in this way? It is immoral, it is ungodly, and contrary, again, to the best aspirations of the American dream. And those words from the great poem by Emma Lazarus, etched onto the Statue of Liberty, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses." That is an invitation to the world. And we become a great nation because we have open doors. And now we are slamming them shut. We are burning the bridges with allies. And so it's an awakening and a reckoning period once again for all of us.
I think that I think you're absolutely right. And I find it fascinating that immigrant groups of color tend to come to the United States and they set up their own communities. If it's in San Francisco, there's a Chinatown. There's a Chinatown in Chicago. There's a Chinese section in New York. There's an Irish community, historic Irish community here in the city of Chicago. There's Little Italy here in Chicago. There's a Little Italy in Los Angeles. These cities, these immigrants come to the United States. They protect first their culture, their sense of home. They have the freedom to do so in our country. And I think that Somalians and Nigerians and others come here with the same cultural model, if you will, to find themselves in community, speaking languages and sharing cultures, reflecting upon how they made it over, if you will. But then there is this reality that our history, the one that they teach at Ellis Island on your way into the United States, is not the same history that has actually responsible for the United States becoming what it is. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Our very special guest is Dr. Robert Franklin, an Emory professor and a distinguished theologian and political analyst. More when we come forward after the break on KBLA Talk 1580.
The biggest names, the best conversations. You're riding with Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Chicago's Black Mayor Brandon Johnson is rejecting an alternative budget from city council members that leaves out a corporate tax.
I think it's pretty straightforward here.
Critics say the tax unfairly targets small businesses, but Johnson insists it's staying. His team will meet with aldermen this weekend to discuss next steps. Reported hate crimes in Los Angeles County are down 1%, but still at their second highest level in 44 years. The latest data shows spikes among Black residents, LGBTQ+ people, Muslims, Jews, Latinos, and others, especially in schools and incidents tied to Middle East conflicts. And Michael Jordan is set to testify in a federal antitrust trial against NASCAR. The NBA legend co-owns 23XI Racing and claims NASCAR's new deal limits team revenue. Jordan's team refused to sign it, calling it unfair to smaller teams. NASCAR denies any wrongdoing. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Compassion sponsorship means food, healthcare, education, and most of all, being known, loved, and protected. There are thousands of kids waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Text the word radio to 83393.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
One of the more significant milestones in LeBron's 23-year NBA career came to an end Thursday night in Toronto. The Lakers beat Toronto 123-120 on Rui Hachimura's three-pointer at the buzzer, but the main discussion after the game and around the NBA was LeBron. For the first time in 18 years, LeBron failed to score in double figures, a streak that had lasted an NBA record 1,297 consecutive games. LeBron had 8 points in 36 minutes. He only made 4 of 17 shots, including 0 for 5 on three-pointers, and had no free throw attempts. LeBron did have 11 assists. Number 11 set up Hachimura for his game-winning shot. LeBron had the ball on the Lakers' final possession, but he saw Hachimura open in the corner. To put this in perspective, Michael Jordan is the only player close to LeBron with 866 straight games scoring in double figures. That 1,297 might never be broken. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio that's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
This holiday season, KBLA Talk 1580 wishes you and yours joy, peace, and prosperity. As we celebrate with family and friends, we're already looking forward to an exciting first quarter, packed with must-attend events to kick off the new year just right. In January, join us for our inaugural Brotherhood Brunch, bringing together community leaders, change makers, and everyday people for inspiration and connection. February means it's time for our signature Black History Month luncheon, a powerful celebration you won't want to miss. And in March, Women's History Month, we're once again hosting our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium and Luncheon, addressing the issues that matter most inside our community. From all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, happy holidays. Stay tuned for more details on these incredible upcoming events. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice, your community, your power.
If you're an adult in need of an accredited high school diploma, the Los Angeles Public Library can help. You can earn one for free in as few as 5 months online with 24/7 access. You also get a personal academic coach plus special training focused on 9 in-demand industries, as well as a resume and cover letter to advance your career. Visit the website at lapl.org/diploma. That's lapl.org/diploma.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
The only thing between you and your best self is a start button. This Cyber Monday, explore the world with Nordic Track. From the peaks of Peru to the streets of Paris, every workout moves you somewhere new with iFit trainers leading the way. The equipment's amazing, smooth, quiet, and those screens make it all feel real. Ready to start your next workout adventure with the #1 treadmill brand in the U.S.? Shop NordicTrack.com for Cyber Monday savings. Nordic Track. Train anywhere, explore everywhere.
You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. This is Happy Fridays, our very special co-host of the program on Fridays, none other than Gina Towns, the creator and producer of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. We are celebrating our second anniversary on the radio, 1 full year on the radio, and particularly grateful to KBLA for giving us this opportunity. Our very special guest in this hour is distinguished Emory Professor Dr. Robert Franklin, and also the former president of Morehouse College. Dr. Franklin, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Thank you so much. Great to be with you today.
Dr. Franklin, you know what just hit me after listening to you in the last segment? I thought about why would my dad go to Minnesota? Why would he go to meet with the Somalian community? He would go there to share with them this history. That's why he would go to their defense, because of our commonality as Africans and African Americans. And as Gina would say, the unique understanding that African Americans have, because we really have a community of broad shoulders, given what we know and understand about America. And he would go to convince the Somalians and understand that they made a bad choice. And then he would work to bring them into the fold by encouraging them going forward to listen to the leadership of our community. It's not just here and up talking. It knows what it's talking about. And going forward, let's move forward together, because we do need their numbers in the state of Minnesota. We do need their numbers nationally in order to stop authoritarianism. Dr. Franklin?
I'm so glad that we are remembering your dad and celebrating his extraordinary global moral ministry in this way. And I think you're absolutely right. He would go with olive branches in hand, extending invitations to dialogue and cooperation, to building solidarity across the human spectrum. So it wasn't simply about a color-based or race-based movement or faith-based. It was so broad and so inclusive that everyone was welcome. And so I hope that our dear friends in the Somali community of Minnesota appreciate how much we love them and how much we stand with them in this time of challenge, and how the door is always open for reconciliation for those who may have distanced themselves from some of our struggles for democracy and justice. And let me just conclude in the spirit of honoring the Honorable Jesse Jackson Sr. I was with him in 1984. It's before many here were born. I was a graduate student at the University of Chicago. I was a part of a mission, something called the Black Theology Project, led by James Cone, Reverend Calvin Butts, Reverend Jeremiah Wright, and on, a number of leaders. And we gathered in Havana, Cuba. And while we were there reading papers about the power of faith, especially of Christian faith, to transform attitudes, dismantle Jim Crow segregation, the Cuban leaders wanted to know that story. But we wanted to know how they were trying to eradicate racism. And Reverend Jackson happened to be there as a part of, I think, a 3 or 4 island nation stop during his presidential campaign. He discovered we were there. We initially were not together. And he asked our group of 20 to join his group. So suddenly we were tagging along for 3 days. We ate real well when we joined his group because he was a guest of the president of the country. We went to the White House in Havana, Cuba. And he was building those bridges. And for me, as a young graduate student and seminarian, trying to understand the power of religious faith to change hearts and minds, that's deep change. We had been focused on what we call high impact, changing law and policy. Civil Rights Act 1964, Voting Rights Act 1965, high impact, changes law. But then Dr. King said, and Jesse Jackson said, we got to have a deep impact to change the hearts and minds of people. And you do that through presence, through touching, through trusting, praying together, and eating together.
Dr. Franklin, someone sent me a picture of that moment.
Oh my.
The other day. I'm trying to scroll through my feed to find it right now. Gina?
Yes. It was an extraordinary moment. Not many have talked about this. One Jamaican-American theologian, Noel Erskine, wrote a brief article about that visit because, national, international press picked up on it. People Google Jesse Jackson and Fidel Castro go to church together. It was really Reverend Jackson that brought Fidel Castro in Cuba to the downtown church, cathedral, he said, according to Mr. Castro, the first time in over 20 plus years. So Reverend Jackson was really crossing some bridges. And that's what moral leaders do. Moral leaders invite us to become better versions of ourselves. And they cross boundaries. They even transgress at times, breaking the normal rules and norms in order to create change and set people free.
Most amazing. You very often, Dr. Franklin, leave me speechless because you hit the issues so well, and then you undergird the issue in an explanation that everyone has to stop and think about. Because as you were talking, and even before, we came back from the break, I thought how much better we are when we are united. The tool of division, that is one of those seductive tools because you think that you're going to get something and get ahead of someone else and you will be better off in that. And that just simply is not true most of the time. And even if it lasts for only a little while, in the end, we still are that much better. I would offer that the African-American experience in the United States qualifies us to be the best friend of anybody in the world. Why? Because we understand it. Even in this hour, you have to see us trying to fight for what we already have achieved, that we had to fight for, that our uncles, grandmothers, cousins had to fight for. And we find ourselves in that same situation with having to struggle to even be counted in the moral arc of justice.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that. I just want to remind, as a footnote to your comment about this global stage where the peoples of the world, especially Pan-African people, can come together. That I was just recently reading about what happened in London in 1900, the first Pan-African conference. And Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois was there and wrote an important speech. People should Google that. But there were a couple of other notable African Americans who were there, because there's African leaders, Caribbean leaders, and African American. Anna Julia Cooper, a name that we should all know, but some do not know, that Dr. Anna Julia Cooper was among the first African American women to earn a PhD from the Sorbonne, the University of Paris. And then Bishop Alexander Walters was present. So the AME Zion Church leadership was present for that Pan-African conference. And we need to remember there's a global audience for the work that we are doing.
I'm particularly proud of that work, and I'm also particularly proud of the contribution, Dr. Franklin, that you have made to that global perspective and that global work. And I am confident, just as confident as I am sitting here, that Martin Luther King Jr. At age 39, when he was taken away from us, had also, by the way, a Nobel laureate, had also given consideration to the diaspora and the dynamic that the separation of families ultimately had for all of us. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You're listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. It's Fat Meat Fridays with Gina Towns and our very special guest, Bob Franklin. More when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
In California, all workers have rights, no matter their immigration status. If you or a family member were detained by federal immigration authorities and did not receive your final paycheck, contact the Labor Commissioner's office. You can file a claim even if you left California or the U.S. Call 833-526-4636 from the U.S. or outside the country 001-833-526-4636. Document wage theft and report it to the Labor Commissioner's office.
Cedars-Sinai is helping shape the future of Los Angeles, working alongside local communities and showing up with resources and healthcare programs that open doors for people across the city. Through career development programs like Next Gen Healthcare Pathways and partnerships with over 200 organizations like Black Men in White Coats, Cedars-Sinai is educating and empowering future healthcare leaders right here in LA. With access to education, mentorships, and hands-on experiences, we can build a healthier Los Angeles together. Cedars-Sinai, here for LA.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, Black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's cal-cruise-news.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Established in 2020 during a time of deep racial unrest across our state and country, the Black Freedom Fund was created to make sure that leaders and organizations working to support Black communities and build power have the resources they need to stay in the fight for the long haul. We believe that those closest to the issues impacting our communities know best how to solve them. That's why in just the last 5 years, we've granted more than $45 million to over 200 grassroots organizations across California. That is the largest collective investment in Black organizing in history, and we're just getting started. We are clear-eyed and committed, more now than ever, to our people, our power, and our possibility. Join us in creating a future where Black people harness their full power to shape their lives and realize a just world for all. Learn more at fundblackfreedom.org. That's fundblackfreedom.org. The Black Freedom Fund is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. Our very special guest in this hour is none other than Dr. Bob Franklin, eminent professor of theology and historian at Emory University, former president of Morehouse College. Dr. Franklin, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Thanks very much, Jesse. Good to be with you.
We're on Fat Meat Fridays with our co-host, Gina Towns, Reverend Towns.
Don't start with me today, John. Do not start.
Dr. Franklin, let me ask you a quick question, if I can. I don't know how quick the answer is, but you have a great segment here from which to convey this message. It seems to me that the country is at a moral turning point in terms of its leadership and the character of its leadership. I remember making a presentation to one of your classes at Emory University, for which I was profoundly grateful that you invited me. And I talked about the moral structure of the Constitution itself, that we the people get to determine all the way from someone who sits on their couch and does nothing or just makes deals, all the way to someone who in our time and space we expect to have the power to feed the hungry, to clothe the naked, to liberate the captive, to grant pardon and reprieve to those who've been incarcerated. A very, very different character trait. But it seems somewhat objectively there in the Constitution, but it's subjective when we go into the voting booth and we don't vote for our moral interests. We vote our economic interests. Help us here, Dr. Franklin.
I think it is so important for a free society to continue to carry on a robust conversation about moral leadership, about what we expect from moral leaders and how we can go forward, what our expectations happen to be. We lose ground when we fail to have that conversation. And like the way David Brooks has put it, we often lose some of our literacy for even talking about integrity, courage, humility, empathy. And I recently heard, Tavis talking to Cornel West about this loss of a robust language about empathy in our culture. I mean, the very impulse to care about others and their well-being, to be able to imagine and put ourselves in the moccasins of others, is now being denigrated as a vulnerability or a sign of weakness. When Jesus, Prophet Muhammad, Moses, all of the great spiritual teachers and leaders assign this notion of service to others, of other regarding love and concern, is at the top of the pyramid. This is the pinnacle of the moral life. So we have, I think, an obligation to keep the conversation going, to hold leaders accountable. And it means also, and I love what you did in my class, and both juxtaposing or placing alongside each other insights from sacred scripture and insights from the U.S. Constitution. That was the genius of Martin Luther King. And he said, this is rooted in the Bible, in Hebrew Bible, in the New Testament. It's also rooted in the U.S. Constitution. And we need to, and I hope that you will continue to be a voice in the public square, in government and beyond, helping us to be reminded of the importance of those two sources. What we expect from our leaders, we can expect more, and we should hold them accountable for justice. And in class, I talk about justice in 3 simple words that everyone can remember. Justice is restoring right relationships. Restoring right relationships. So even when people don't want to have use the language of reparations, some folk are comfortable with it, some are not. Some think it's a radioactive term. Some think it's actually a promising term to get started. It's accurate and historically rooted. But I think that to restore right relationships, however you interpret, is the place to start our conversation now in 2025 about moral leadership, about good government, a good society, and a good future.
Gina?
So it's Fat Meat Friday. And I dug a nugget out of what you just said for us to put in the skillet. And that word is empathy. And most recently, the word empathy came under fire. It got on the front stage. And I commented on a post not too long ago about the word empathy, because empathy is the word that allows us to open our heart and put ourselves in other people's shoes, to take our experiences to say, I've experienced something like that, or wow, I would not want to experience that, so that I can empathize. Whereas sympathy almost dictates that I look from on high, look down low to say, oh, woe is you. And while that's not what we mean when we use the word sympathy, particularly when it comes to people losing a loved one. So we don't want to confuse that. But when we think about the difference between the word empathy and sympathy, we find that we interchange them quite frequently. They are very different. And one is an enabler and one is just an observer.
Yes. I think this is an important language distinction, even in the language. And I love the way you're highlighting this, Gina, because I think people will think about this now. Why do we have 2 separate words to refer to this work of the heart? Is a simple way to think about the Greek and Latin roots of empathy and sympathy is pathos. And pathos refers to emotion, the work of the heart. And empathy is kind of entering into, through your heart, the life of the other. Whereas, as you say, sympathy is standing apart, but standing with, to the extent that you can, and often looking down at. So I have sympathy, but you don't really enter into my own heart. I hope you, if things work well for you, is what many people in American society are perhaps looking at as we see so many of our immigrant friends and colleagues struggling at this time. But the empathy said we're going to be in the streets, standing with them, protecting them, and giving them shelter.
Dr. King said that this story of the men and the man who had fallen to robbery on the Jericho Road, that the Samaritan had the choice of sympathizing with him, flick a coin to him and say, be on your way. The fact that he went the extra mile and bandaged him up, took him to a local hospital, put him in a local care facility, and promised to pay when he came back. Dr. King said in his heart, the foundation of his life was an altruistic care that went far beyond flinging a coin to a beggar, but engaging humanity. Dr. Franklin, we're grateful to have you on our show. Can you just share with us one more thing, your landmark work on moral leadership? We have about 30 seconds before we have to come forward.
Yes, I'm so glad you mentioned this notion of altruism, because in this season, particularly as we think about the meaning of Advent, the meaning of Christmas, certainly in the Christian community and beyond. It is a time of embracing light, of peace, of sharing and joy and gift giving. Perhaps the nation can pause in this season and open its heart, feel the pain and suffering going on in our nation. Reread those biblical stories that talk about the journey of a family who are refugees and seeking safety. And let us expand ourselves to embrace others. So the world is equally balanced.
So
good
great.
and evil. Yes.
So grateful that you spent this time with us. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. More on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show when we come back on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Chicago's Black Mayor Brandon Johnson is rejecting an alternative budget from city council members that leaves out a corporate tax.
I think it's pretty straightforward here.
Critics say the tax unfairly targets small businesses, but Johnson insists it's staying. His team will meet with aldermen this weekend to discuss next steps. Reported hate crimes in Los Angeles County are down 1%, but still at their second highest level in 44 years. The latest data shows spikes among Black residents, LGBTQ+ people, Muslims, Jews, Latinos, and others, especially in schools and incidents tied to Middle East conflicts. And Michael Jordan is set to testify in a federal antitrust trial against NASCAR. The NBA legend co-owns 23XI Racing and claims NASCAR's new deal limits team revenue. Jordan's team refused to sign it, calling it unfair to smaller teams. NASCAR denies any wrongdoing. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Compassion sponsorship means food, healthcare, education, and most of all, being known, loved, and protected. There are thousands of kids waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Text the word radio to 83393.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
One of the more significant milestones in LeBron's 23-year NBA career came to an end Thursday night in Toronto. The Lakers beat Toronto 123-120 on Rui Hachimura's three-pointer at the buzzer, but the main discussion after the game and around the NBA was LeBron. For the first time in 18 years, LeBron failed to score in double figures, a streak that had lasted an NBA record 1,297 consecutive games. LeBron had 8 points in 36 minutes. He only made 4 of 17 shots, including 0 for 5 on three-pointers, and had no free throw attempts. LeBron did have 11 assists. Number 11 set up Hachimura for his game-winning shot. LeBron had the ball on the Lakers' final possession, but he saw Hachimura open in the corner. To put this in perspective, Michael Jordan is the only player close to LeBron with 866 straight games scoring in double figures. That 1,297 might never be broken. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Celebrate the soul of the holidays and support Altadena and Pasadena. Join us on Monday, December 15th, 7 p.m. inside the Bram Goldsmith Theater at the Wallace in Beverly Hills for Soul of the Holidays, a joyful night of Motor City soul, gospel, and holiday classics featuring an 18-piece band, all-star vocalist, and community choirs, all in support of the Black LA Relief and Recovery Fund. This performance comes at a pivotal time for many in Altadena and Pasadena. This is their first holiday season since the devastating Altadena Eden Canyon fire, which destroyed homes and community spaces. While the physical losses are immense, the power of community remains, and your attendance directly supports recovery, resilience, and renewal. So, be sure to join us Monday, December 15th, 7 p.m. inside the Bram Goldsmith Theater at the Wallace in Beverly Hills for Soul of the Holidays, benefiting survivors of the Altadena Eden Canyon fire. For ticket information, just log on to tickets@thewallace.org. That's tickets@thewallace.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580 and the Black Freedom Fund.
Jesse Jackson Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. I want this continue this music for a second because in this hour, the author of the jingle of the new Jesse Jackson Jr. Show is none other than Farley Jackmaster Funk. The king of house music is our very special guest on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. This is Fat Meat Fridays with Gina Town. Gina, the Jackmaster is here.
Farley.
Hey, what it do, y'all? What it do? You know, I'm quite insulted, by the way.
What happened?
I'm quite insulted because I know last time I seen you two healthy people, y'all was saying I need to lose weight, and he would invite me on a fat day, you know, on Fat Meat Friday. FNF. You know, I got the hint, bro. I got the hint. I'm in the gym, man. I promise I'm gonna do more than just walk in the gym and look at it.
Farley, hi. You know what, Gina? Can we bring Farley up? He's got some kind of interesting situation going on here. That light apparatus that's tied to your head, Farley. Okay. No. I thought that was definitely some lights. Farley, you are in the house.
Yes, sir.
Chicago, we're in London, we're in Johannesburg, South Africa. We are live in Los Angeles, California. Gina.
Yes.
The Jackmaster's here.
That is.
Taiwan fairs everywhere.
Hey, listen, let's do this. I have a clip for you.
Go ahead.
House music's journey began in the early 1980s in Chicago, where DJs like Frankie Knuckles crafted a new sound by blending disco, electronic beats, and soulful melodies. This was the birth of house music, named after the legendary Warehouse Club where it all started. Using drum machines and synthesizers, pioneers like Larry Heard and Marshall Jefferson pushed boundaries, creating tracks that became anthems of the underground scene. The 4/4 beat and infectious grooves made house music a staple in clubs. By the mid-1980s, house music spread to cities like New York and Detroit, evolving with unique local flavors. The late 80s and early 90s saw the rise of subgenres like deep house, acid house, and techno, each contributing to the genre's rich tapestry. Today, house music is a global phenomenon, influencing countless artists and uniting dance floors worldwide. From its humble beginnings to its explosive impact.
Farley, you're a legend.
I want to be real clear. I put this back up because I want, if you cannot see and you are not on social media right now and you are listening to us, you will see on our graphic, I will tell you what it says. It's a street sign that says the king of house music, Farley Jackmaster Funk. That is who we have with us. And what I want to make sure at the outset of this conversation today, for all of my friends in New York, you know I love you, but house music began in Chicago.
And it didn't begin at the Warehouse either. So let's start with them lies too.
We're about to get it straight. We have 1 minute. We're going to jump into this, but we will come forward when we do it. But in the meantime, or between time, Farley, tell us what you are up to these days.
These days, I'm supporting this guy for Congress named Jesse Jackson Jr.
Oh wow!
You know, the music is important, but life is more important. Politics has never been more important than it is right now, and it's a time for us to take life at its most serious that we've ever taken it, you know, in the 21st century. And it's so important that we get it right and that we get somebody in office who is a veteran, who understands and not trying out for the office, but knows the office. These other people going in, they have trial and error that they're going to have to go through. And we need Jesse Jackson Jr., the most important person for this job. And I can't delay that any longer to talk about the music, because we won't even have a place to play music if we don't get somebody in the White House to work out.
Well, that
was the last thing we're thinking about. They say Negroes don't do nothing but dance all day. But when it comes to the real task at hand, we are missing. And so Junior has been there, and he knows exactly what needs to be done. So we really need you, brother. I mean, like, to talk about house music for me right now is really getting off the subject, but I will talk about the house music because this is why the people are listening and came. But I just want to make sure you didn't pay me a dime to say this. We're good friends, but when it comes to the truth, good friends don't count. Qualifications count. And it's so important that we get this right, people.
You know, I really appreciate that. Wasn't expecting it. And I'm particularly proud that an iconic representative of a genre of music, an important part of the American culture, of our country's culture, is waking up to the idea. And there's never been a moment that you've been asleep, but you are crystal clear on what this hour represents. Gina, maybe when we come forward, we can explore with Farley more of what he sees that's taking place out here in the country before we go to the history of this music. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You're listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. Our very special guest is the Jackmaster.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 remembers Robin Ayers on the 1-year anniversary of her passing. 1 year ago this week, we lost a remarkable and vibrant voice. Robin Ayers touched countless lives through her passion, her love, her service, and her smile, which you could see through the radio. KBLA Talk 1580 honors her memory and celebrates the legacy she left behind. Robin, your spirit lives on in every conversation, in every connection, and in every one of us, inspired by your voice. Gone, but never forgotten. KBLA Talk 1580, where voices matter.
I'm missing you. Tell me why the road turns. I'm missing you. Tell me why the road turns.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs, with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. That's me Fridays, and you heard Ken Harley, Drop the Beat. King of House Music is our very special guest, Farley Jackmaster Funk, live on KBLA Talk 1580 around the country and around the world by app. Gina Towns, the creator of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. We have a icon, a music legend, a genre-creating cultural developer, and an influencer of extraordinary proportions in American culture. And while we have a lot of things that we want to cover, Farley, can you share with us the consciousness of this hour, particularly for many of the people who follow you, in terms of the gravity of this hour and what it means?
Well, initially it was supposed to be talking about house music, but what really touched my heart more than anything, and that trying to take advantage of this time, and that we would have our core listeners and viewers watching, is to be able to say the urgency for us to go to the polls, for us to keep our eyes on the prize, because we have taken our eyes off of the prize, and generations have been lost with parents not, how can I put it, equipping their kids with what the future holds. And because of that, we have a lot of things that have been lost in transition due to them believing that politics doesn't matter. And it means everything, as we have rights that's going to be taken away from us. They said if you want to give away $1 million, what's the saying about if you put it in writing, we ain't going to read it. And we're missing the core points that's going to keep us in our place in this country, our foothold in this country, to be treated like second-class citizens at some point. It's really that deep, and people don't see it coming, but that's where we are right now. And if it's not someone like yourself, that's going to do this job, man, we might as well give it up, because there's no time to learn on the job. This is not a place to learn on the job. We got several people that's learning on the job, and we keep seeing that throughout the country with different aldermans, different congressmen, everything, when they learning on the job on their first year. You got to come in, man, with boots on the ground. And if you don't know where the hidden things are, it's no time to ask your fellow colleague congressman, what should I be doing? Which way is my office? We ain't got no time for that, man. You got to already know what you're doing when you walk into that building, what you're going to do. A lot of politicians always, they say what they're going to do before they get there and don't do nothing, because they don't know how to do it. So we need somebody with experience who knows. And then get this, on the south side of Chicago, there's a place where somebody named Reverend Jesse Jackson helped push it. In the very community in which we come from, there should not ever be another millionaire in office, and let alone a billionaire, because they can't feel the problems of the people. What do you know about what it's like not to eat a meal? If I ask the current people, administration, what do you know about missing a meal? When they just did this crazy stuff, when they shut Congress down to get their way, shut the White House down to get their way, all the starving people that were hungry, but didn't realize that don't make it racial, but it's more white people that was on
SNAP benefits,
on the benefits than us,
Yeah, it was on the
but
benefits.
we were the ones that were televised. You understand?
Yeah.
As it keeps on going, the rhetoric, we are the ones that's televised.
Gina?
I do want to talk about your evolution and revolution here in our longest segment. So here's what I would like for you to do. Could you please tell us a little bit about yourself? How about that?
I'm a conscious person. I didn't realize that I would be that person, but as I've gotten older, you have to recognize the things of God. And once you can tap into who you are in the Lord, all along there was a purpose on your life. You might didn't know it, but later on, the things of God you can recognize. So I used to play Martin Luther King, his speech over the music on WBMX back in the day when I first started, because I wanted the kids to learn his speech. It was subliminal. They were dancing, but it was dancing with a purpose. At the time, I just thought it was something cool to do. I got Martin Luther King on there, man. I'm like, man, he's the coolest. And later on in life, he's like, when they came to me, they said, Farley, I learned Martin Luther King's speech because of you. I've learned of Reverend Jesse Jackson because you played I Am Somebody over the beats. I didn't really know what my place was because I was so busy running around with all the girls, Corvette and everything else, you know, living a life as a celebrity. But then when I came into who I was when I gave my life to the Lord, I found out what my purpose was. And so my music has always been inspirational. I had some dirty ones in there. The devil is a liar. I ain't gonna sit here and lie before you and tell you I didn't have some of them raunchy ones. But let me tell you, God ain't never used nobody perfect but Jesus. And so now therein lies the situation of all of us, no matter who's even doing what they're doing now, watch and see what God can do. As he said, he used the foolish things of the world to confine the wise. And I love to say that I was foolish because guess what? That's why I know God is using me, because he's used me so many times to confine those people that were wise, that knew everything. And here comes this message from this funny looking kid from the south side of Chicago. I saw some pictures of myself when I was young, and I didn't know how nobody took me serious then, but I grew into this handsomeness that I have now. What can I say? And so it's life just evolved, and it kept on evolving, and it's still evolving right now. So that's pretty much who I am. That guy who God has blessed and blessed me to be an inspiration to so many people globally, to be able to speak on a microphone, play some music. Lost 99% of my jobs throughout England and Europe and the rest of the world because I took a stand for the Lord and went in and talked about God at the events. And all the promoters said, we did not hire you to talk about Jesus at these parties. And it was just that turn in my life when God was using me to get his name out there, because he said if his name be lifted up, he would draw nigh to them. He would draw people into them souls into him. So I lost it, but then I got it back, because one thing about God is he wants to see if he can trust you. And so I had to put him first. When people say put him first, man, you really got to look in the mirror and say, you know, did I really put God first, or was he second or third or fourth? I put him first, and I lost 99.9%, which means all my work. We moved into Roseland at the time. Some people who know me was wondering, why was I living in Roseland? And you're famous. Is because there's some things that happen to you when you live for the Lord. You become very peculiar and strange, and those words that are coming out of your mouth is not necessarily something of the world, but it was a very peculiar ministry, because here I am in the club. Well, if you got a ministry, how you in the club? Because the pastor can't go to the club.
That's all right now.
So who you gonna send, Lord? He sent me because I was just like what I was playing in front of, and I understood them. And so I didn't have to beat them over the head, but there were some things that I still had to learn as I get long-winded in this part, just to say that I needed to be around some wise counsel, because the thing is that you can always do a mighty work from the inside. It's hard to do the work from the outside, but when you can walk amongst the people, and you can, as the Bible says, when one soul gets saved, heaven rejoices. I didn't know that tactic. I was overzealous. So I went in trying to be Moses when I first walked in and told her that's where I lost it. You know, the wisdom says now, because hindsight is 2020, I could have did more work if I would have had a more conscious effort and knew what I was doing from some wise counsel that knew that you just can't go in and do that, because I would still have been in those places to tell even more people. But I'm still glad that I showed obedience and showed God that you know, what he spoke in my spirit, I did. A couple of times I didn't. And can I say this one last thing in that subject? I would like to say, and this may sound crazy to some people, but I was over in Greece. I believe that was a country at the time that I was DJing at, and I heard the Holy Spirit say, "Tell them about me." And I said, "Lord, they don't even speak English." He wasn't concerned. Let me tell you why he wasn't concerned. It's gonna sound crazy to y'all, and it happened to me. God actually smited me, bro. I had bumps on 98% of my body when I got on the airplane and they thought I was the Elephant Man. Okay. Right after I was disobedient and said, Lord, they don't even speak the language. A bug bit me on my neck. I went back to I was in Spain, in Ibiza. And I went back to my hotel room. No alcohol. All the stores were closed. So I took my cologne and sprayed myself and got a reaction. Got on the airplane. All these people going like, I didn't even know because stuff was changing by the minute. More bumps popping on my body. I went in the washroom and looking like, oh my God, what is that? So I got on the airplane, and phone calls on the airplane were like $2,000. I'm over exaggerating, but if you picked up that telephone on the airplane and make a phone call, I didn't care. So I called my mother-in-law. She was one of the people who led me to the Lord, and I said, I think God is going to kill me before we land. She said, baby, just repent. So I got up in business class, wasn't no first class, got on my knees on the airplane. No more than 3 seats in from where the captain sit and started speaking in tongues and said, Lord, please, Lord, please.
Hey.
Let me tell you, I was crying, Lord, please don't take me. Lord, don't take me. And I got to London. I found a doctor, and the doctor came through, gave me what I needed. Trust me, this story too long for this segment.
Oh, wow. Gina, that's
I'm serious about God. I really am.
And I have an appreciation for that. I think that, we all do. And especially sometimes, we have to be in a place where we can pay attention. God will get your attention sometimes. And if you're not looking at us on YouTube or any of the social media platforms, I want to just tell you about what's on the screen in social media right now. Farley Jackmaster Funk, one of the most influential figures in the history of house music, with a career over 3 decades, clearly relishes the idea of being underestimated.
4.5 now.
More than 25 years since he hit the radio with the other members of the Hot Mix 5, he held down his legendary residency at the Playground. And you, since then, have been gearing up and doing different things. You have not missed a beat.
Yes. I'm kind of like, this is going to sound funny, but I'm a cussing Christian too. Can I cuss on the show? No, I'm just joking.
No, you cannot.
Okay. Right. So the babies might be watching, but yeah, it's really been a track. I've been on a beam ever since. And I love just being 100% real with people, because I think, I really want to touch on the politician one more time. Please be real with the people. Let them see that you cry. Let them see that you smack your dog if you're mad. Let them see that you're real. So when something actually happens, they're not looking for nobody perfect, and they can't say a word. Because we got somebody very orange who is freaking the planet Earth out. And he's saying stuff that sounds like, oh my God, but they're going like, what? That sounds kind of real to me. Man, let's give it to him real, man. Let's give it to him like we really do have problems, like we really do have health problems. Like we are really human beings. I think people will tap into us more when we let them know that we are not a robot. We are human.
No, yes, we are. And you know what? I count on other people and have had to develop personally a thick skin associated with people who say things about me, because what I find out about it more than anything, Farley, is that I learned this from my father. Whether they say something positive about you or they say something negative about you, I'm on their mind, man.
That's right.
Or you're on their mind. So my dad learned and told me to develop the skin, because the fact that I'm on your mind, he said there are 3 things: you can love someone, you can hate someone, or you can be indifferent towards someone. He said, do you know what is worse than hating someone? To be indifferent to someone, where they don't matter. Between love and hate, we at least have emotions that we can work with, both positive and some of them might even be destructive. But if I walk by you and you don't exist, indifference, Dad said indifference is worse than hate. And so I don't have a problem staying between the positive and the negative, because that's where the power is. If you can stay between those who are saying something kind about you and those who are detracting and saying something. Y'all talking about me.
Come on, man.
When I step into the room, when Farley, the Jack Master, steps into the room, when Gina steps into the room, we bring that kind of power and bring that kind of smoke. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. show on KBLA Talk 1580. More with the Jack Master and Gina Towns when we come forward.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to here with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. New York City Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch is apologizing to Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani after her brother made inflammatory remarks about him.
I look forward to being a mayor for each and every New Yorker, including Jewish New Yorkers.
At a private event, her brother reportedly called Mamdani, quote, an enemy of the Jewish people, end quote. Senator Lindsey Graham says witnessing Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of the Congo sign a peace deal in the Oval Office was a historic moment. He praised President Trump for brokering the agreement, noting the decades-long conflict has claimed millions of lives. And the estate of the notorious B.I.G. is denying claims in Netflix's new docuseries about Sean Diddy Combs, including that funeral costs were paid using Biggie's record deal money. Wayne Barrow, who helps manage the estate, told The Breakfast Club's Lauren LaRosa the story is not true and called it disrespectful to imply Biggie's family would not notice that. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Compassion sponsorship means food, healthcare, education, and most of all, being known, loved, and protected. There are thousands of kids waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Text the word radio to 83393.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
A little more perspective on LeBron's double-digit scoring streak that came to an end Thursday night in Toronto. The streak ended at 1,297 consecutive games where LeBron scored 10 or more points. The streak started on January 6, 2007, when LeBron was in his fourth season in the NBA with Cleveland. The 1,297 is an NBA record that will likely never be broken. Michael Jordan had 866 straight games scoring in double figures during his 15-year career. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has 787. The longest current streak among active players is Kevin Durant with 267. Durant is 1,030 games behind LeBron. At age 37 and playing in his 18th season, it is doubtful Durant will be around to play that many games to catch LeBron. Stick a fork in this record. This is one record LeBron won't have to worry about after he retires, whenever that will be. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Established in 2020 during a time of deep racial unrest across our state and country, the Black Freedom Fund was created to make sure that leaders and organizations working to support Black communities and build power have the resources they need to stay in the fight for the long haul. We believe that those closest to the issues impacting our communities know best how to solve them. That's why in just the last 5 years, we've granted more than $45 million to over 200 grassroots organizations across California. That is the largest collective investment in Black organizing in history, and we're just getting started. We are clear-eyed and committed, more now than ever, to our people, our power, and our possibility. Join us in creating a future where Black people harness their full power to shape their lives and realize a just world for all. Learn more at fundblackfreedom.org. That's fundblackfreedom.org. The Black Freedom Fund is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
The only thing between you and your best self is the start button. This Cyber Monday, explore the world with Nordic Track. From the peaks of Peru to the streets of Paris, every workout moves you somewhere new with iFit trainers leading the way. The equipment's amazing, smooth, quiet, and those screens make it all feel real. Ready to start your next workout adventure with the #1 treadmill brand in the U.S.? Shop NordicTrack.com for Cyber Monday savings. Nordic Track. Train anywhere, explore everywhere.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take DayQuil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the DayQuil.
Undo your flu symptoms with DayQuil Intense Flu. DayQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
DayQuil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu, medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
Heard any other talk radio lately that sounds anything like this? We didn't think so. You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive, KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley drops the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Sometimes I cut that song off, but I want you to know that it motivates me Monday through Friday in the second season of our show. I'm very grateful for the leadership, for the innovation, for the creation and the collaboration between Jackmaster Funk and Gina Towns in creating that jingle for the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Gina, welcome the Jackmaster forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr.
The king of house music is with us today, and no one could be prouder than we are of the work that you've done and the journey that you've had, and some of which you began to tell us about in the last segment. I was during the break going through my little YouTube of Jackmaster, Jack your body. And I was just wondering, can you play us a song can you play something for us over there?
You know the song I made called I'm a Househead, right?
Yes.
So I coined the phrase, as I've done so many things, because it kind of leads me to, this thing about where did house music start? This is a joke to me. So is that too loud?
Oh no, turn it up.
Turn it up.
It's Friday. Some of us got paid, some of us didn't.
So it's been like a joke because people they don't know where house music started, that they're guessing. And it depends on who your fan base is. And we've had some real unfortunate things that have happened throughout this thing, discovering house music. So if you had Conrads that worked at newspapers and they worked in the press, they didn't like the other DJ for whatever reason, they covered the other DJ. And so we come across this point right here. And that point was the Rainbow Coalition of, I shouldn't even say rainbow, but the LGBTQ community. And by Frankie being gay, and I'm not gay at all, they wrote about him. So the thing about it was the gays went to Frankie's club because it was a gay club. and the Playground was a heterosexual club, and so their influences for them came from Frankie. And if they worked at the various outlets, in those days they had to live a very undercover life. Everybody's out now, which is good, but then it wasn't as so when people came from different countries and different places and they wrote about it, we were somewhere 5 or 6 somewhere down on a totem pole of seeing where the music was actually coming from. So our voice was less than what Frankie had. So that's the disclaimer that I have to put on it. It was very unfortunate, and you can't get it out of the press because once it's wrote, it's there. And so that had a lot to do with it. But house music started with Jesse Saunders at the Playground. The very first house record that was ever recorded was with Jesse Saunders of the Chosen Few from the Playground. Now, Jesse was my partner, and we made music together. And the drum machines and the things that you saw in that video, those drum machines were never at the warehouse. In fact, they were at the power plant because the warehouse closed in 1982. We didn't have drum machines in the club until 83. So there's a lot of things on the timeline that are wrong. But it's okay though, because it's okay and not okay. but we move forward because this music is more important than just one person. The music is a global iconic movement, and it came from Chicago from many people. And so it's kind of hard to be able to say that one man did everything. But Jesse released the first record. I released the second record. Frankie released a record by Jamie Principle. That wasn't his record. It was called Your Love. But that wasn't Frankie. That was Jamie Principle. But he put his name on there and said Presents. So it's a whole lot that people need to step back to. And I'm opening up the House Music Museum and Hall of Fame, where we're going to get the best committee that we could put together. And so it's not all about me and nobody else. It'll be the truth that we can get out in the House Music Museum and Hall of Fame in 2027.
Gina, I find it fascinating that the creativity and the innovation, Farley, you talked about it in a real sense, breaking down between who the media actually chose to project and where the origination of the sound was based upon whatever the politics were of being heterosexual or being homosexual. I find that, quite frankly, interesting because the fusion of our overcoming as a nation, the politics of being out or being in the closet, actually has led to a broader diversity in the music today because the creativity now starts from a place of just pure authenticity.
I think it's sad on both sides because you got, let's say there's some astronauts that were gay, LGBTQ, and they couldn't talk about it. So their information was suppressed at the same time. And it's crazy how many things that gays and LGBT, I don't know how to really say it because I'm not of the community, but they have been incredible in the things that they have done on planet Earth that they don't get credit for because they had to be on the low, and how they couldn't keep employment if they let somebody know if they were gay or were thinking about being gay. So it happens on both sides.
Interesting.
It's not just one. I'm not here to say I'm the only one that's picked on. They were picked on just as much. So I'm here to clear that part. I'm not homophobic at all, but I am a realist to say that it happened on all sides, and the world is not a perfect place. It hadn't been for a long time.
Yeah, you know what? But race is so real though, right? Because if you're LGBTQIA and you're Black, I mean, you really getting hit in the head because of the way our community at that time, and to some extent the church even to this day, condemns people for being themselves. I mean, outrageous, just outrageous. And it leads to the higher incidences of suicide and all kinds of other stuff.
Yeah, man. It's the soul first.
It's crazy. It's crazy, Gina.
So I wanted to make sure, because we love music, and music has its origin in so many different places. And so while you guys were talking, I did a little bit of research. And so on the West Coast, we've got West Coast hip hop, and we have iconic rock. Let's see what else. Influential pop, punk, hardcore, grunge. So, we all have something to be proud of. And of course, New York City is the birthplace of jazz, hip hop, punk rock, disco, salsa, folk Broadway. But then, we got to come back to Chicago. I'll tell you this quick story because you were at WBMX during that day. I went to Hampton University and everybody brought all of their music from where they were. And, you had the East Coast swing and Chuck Brown. And we love DC for the trouble funk. And so, it was very interesting because I took my little tape from WBMX out onto the block and they were like, well, what is this? And I was like, this is my mix from WBMX in Chicago. And it was a mix of Planet Rock. And when I'm telling you, they put that thing in that boom box and everybody was like, oh, on the block, they were like, get down, Chi-Town. So we have a very rich culture. And when we come forward from the break, we will definitely talk more about music and your evolution and the evolution of our people.
We need 4 more hours.
The king of house music, Farley Jack Master Funk, is our guest on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
Looking for a purposeful and passionate way to make a difference in your community? Volunteer with our Senior Medicare Patrol and help prevent Medicare fraud. SMP volunteers work in their community educating peers about healthcare fraud and how to prevent and detect it. Free training starts soon. Check us out online or at an SMP open house near you. We're on a mission to stop fraud. Join our team. You make a difference. Visit caSMPvolunteer.org.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt?
With Civic Tax Relief, they were able to save me upwards of $80,000 that I would have had to pay had I not reached out to them.
Get ready for a toll-free hotline. Take advantage of new IRS tax forgiveness programs that may protect you from IRS collection agencies.
I owe the IRS $37,000.
They have the power to garnish your wages, put liens on your property, and levy your bank account. Civic Tax Relief can help protect you from the IRS.
Civic Tax Relief basically represented me against the IRS. By the time everything was completed, I didn't owe the IRS anything.
Find out about the Fresh Start program that is now available through Civic Tax Relief. Civic Tax Relief's special tax hotline can help you discover all the relief programs available for free.
I would recommend anyone who has a tax problem to contact Civic Tax Relief.
Just call 800-404-4999. 800-404-4999. Don't wait. Call now. 800-404-4999. 800-404-4999.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or price stopped. Opt out.
Hey man, how did the date go?
I had to cancel. I don't get paid until Friday.
You didn't know that you can get up to a $750 paycheck advance with the Current app?
Where was that information yesterday?
All you have to do is download the app, see if you qualify, $750. Boom.
You think I should call her back?
Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
All right.
Need money before payday? Current has you covered. Set up an eligible direct deposit to see if you qualify for a paycheck advance of up to $750. Get ahead with Current. Text ACTION to 323232 to sign up today. That's ACTION to 323232. ACTION to 323232. ACTION to 323232.
Paycheck Advance is offered by FindCo Advance LLC, a financial technology company, not an FDIC-insured bank. Eligibility and available amounts may vary and are subject to change at any time. For full terms and conditions, visit current.com or call 1-888-851-3177 for more information.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate loses and love wins.
Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You're listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. Happy Fridays and the end of our week, and we hope you're having an enjoyable time moving through traffic on the West Coast and here in Central Standard Time, Midwestern America, and on the East Coast. Definitely in traffic right now. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Our very special guest on Fat Fridays is our contributing host, our creator, Gina Towns, as well as the iconic king of house music, Farley Jack Master Funk, is our very special guest. Farley, just before we have a couple of questions, I try to leave for our guests at the end of the program 3 minutes for a word of hope. So even as you answer these remaining questions, you know, to the top of the show, we got a hard stop. But I certainly like to hear your 3-minute word of hope to our nation, to our people for such a time as this. Gina?
Well, you know, when we left out at the last segment, we were just talking about the contributions that we have had, you know, and what city you're from. It's almost like having football teams for a lack of a better comparison. You know, things that we champion and we enjoy each other's music. And, you know, Chicago has been pivotal for blues and house music. And what I really thought was very interesting is that I got to meet so many of those pivotal people who came through and are demigods, really, in the house music, like Curly, Wayne Williams, and obviously we have Keith house music that we treasure. I want to thank you so much for, you know, unsolicited hearing the show, listening to the show, and deciding, hey, you guys, you know, I want to do something for you. So thank you for the music that we have, and we were able to launch in our new season. Farley, thank you so much.
I can't thank you enough for that, Farley. It is very motivating, very inspiring, and it gives us, you know, the energy on this side of the show. And without your creativity and your historic support, not just of me, but the work that civil rights activists, especially Reverend Jesse Jackson, has done in the city of Chicago for more than 5 decades. The Jack Master has always been present. He's always been available, and he never charges anything when he gives to the community, and he sees it as a worthy cause and a worthy subject matter. And so because of your giving spirit, we are certainly grateful for that. Gina?
So I want to talk a little bit about this evolution, because you just kind of lit right in at the beginning of this segment. But as a young man entering this, and I mean, you kind of glossed over a little bit, but I really love for our listeners, and I'd love to know more details myself about your evolution from fame to faith, and what the difference is and what you consider to be success in light of all of that.
Well, the faith part, man, is something that I'm so glad that I got to know at the age that I did at 34 years old. I'm glad that I got it earlier than later, and then at the same time knowing that that part of my life is taken care of. I'm not guessing, who I am anymore. I know who I am and who I belong to, and so that thing really is the thing that drove me, and also made me more attentive to who my fellow man is. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. I have some different spins about some things in I should say religion. It's like I don't like giving money to the church. Don't like doing it. I like to give it to the people. I'm driving down the street and please try not to cry over this because it's so you see people hurting, you see them hurting, and you looking at the church going like, if they don't come to the church, they don't receive. But then, you got those saints that look at people and they make you feel like you don't belong. So why would you want to go? You have security at the churches where they won't let certain people in because they smell a certain way.
That's interesting. Can I jump in right there? I spent a lot of time in Los Angeles and in Gardena. There is the City of Refuge with Bishop Noel Jones.
Yes.
And I spent a lot of time in that church. And I remember one Sunday, there was a woman who perhaps came, straight to church from where she was working. And she was not, in a lot of people's minds, dressed appropriately for church. And I got to tell you, the next Sunday, after Bishop Jones had heard the things that were said to this woman who had her child with her, he lit that thing up, and it's apropos right now because our new season is lighted up. He lit up the entire organization. He said, some of you sitting in here dressed with your, all the way up to your neckline, and you forgot who you were before you found the Lord Jesus. And if I ever hear of anyone, instead of giving someone a scarf to put over their legs, asking them to leave, I'm going to ask you to leave. And, that is very interesting because, Noel Jones certainly knows his fair share of fame, and he is the brother of Grace Jones. And so he's had to navigate that space and that place for pretty much, his adult life. But I just found it very funny that you talked about that and where you have arrived to. And it is that difference. And everybody's talking about the new documentary as well, about Sean Diddy Combs.
Yeah, I saw some of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, it's a lot. And sometimes we do have to make choices. I know that people would say that they made choices about what they were willing to do and what they were not willing to do, and the cost of fame in some areas. But that really then gets to my question, what is success? What do we view in our own mind and heart as successful versus the world's view of what's successful? And our guest in the last segment also, and we're running out of time. We could keep you here forever, of course, but he talked about the fact that it's up to us to really have our own definition of who we want to be and how we compare ourselves to others. So
I
I'm
totally agree.
that
Yeah.
last word of hope for you as we wind down our first week of celebration for our anniversary. And we're so thankful to you for your contribution. I'm thankful.
Thanks for having me.
For getting us through the first season.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And then I think the one thing I would say is what was the towers that in New York they got the planes ran into?
World Trade.
Yeah, the plane they ran.
World Trade.
World Trade. Let's just think of if everybody could look at the World Trade and run into the building for 5 minutes when a plane hit. I think us as human beings would be so much better because we would understand that we all need each other. That was a day that nobody cared what race you were, what your sexuality was. It was all about helping each other get out of that building. But why we got to go there for that to happen? But that's how deep it is. That's the only way a lot of people can pull off that flesh so they can do the things that God would have us to do to be there for thy brother.
It doesn't get much more beautiful than that. Very grateful to Gina Towns on Fat Meat Fridays and to our very special guest, king of house music, Farley Jack Master Funk. Farley, can't wait to have you back in the future.
Yeah, like Monday, like 3 o'clock. Yeah. I enjoy both of y'all. Y'all are awesome.
Like every day with the jingle. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You've been listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward on Monday.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.